Alright guys, how's it going? This lesson is a lesson on how to play metal using a very simple method that is suitable for beginners, intermediates and experts. Now, I know you're probably thinking, how can a very simple method on how to just initially play a genre, how can that fit with all these different types of skilled players, so beginners, intermediates and experts? Now, the thing is, when you write music, not just metal, it's not about how technical something is, it's about how valuable something is. So you can write a riff that's slow, fast, simple or technical, but unless you're actually making it so that when you play this riff or whatever riff you have, unless it makes people go, wow, this is sick, you're not achieving what you could be achieving. Because that's the thing, it's not about like, you know, if it's fast or slow or whatever, you know, it's about getting the most out of what you're playing. So it's to do with what notes you're playing and what you're physically playing. So having like a good metal technique, so whether you can do like tremolo picking, like hammer-ons and pull-offs, like crazy sort of stuff, you know. So that's the thing. So if you're an expert, you're going to get so much more out of this than a beginner person would. Like using this method, that's actually how my guitar teacher like taught me to write metal. And you know, it's an amazing, very simple like tool to give someone access to be able to write metal like instantly. Like this is the first riff that I ever wrote using, and it was using like this method. Right, but obviously if you're an expert, this method that I'm going to show you, I know for a fact that you would be able to create something way more technical than that. Right, so I'm going to tell you why and how sort of like this method works and why it's good, you know. So just before we start, and then I'll get on to actually showing it to you. Right, so within metal you have two common traits that pretty much make up like what most metal is. Right, the first trait is to palm mute the low E string and play notes like that. Right, so you can combine it with notes if you want. I mean, obviously you can do it if you want, but yeah, so it's like you palm mute notes on the low E. Right, and then you combine that with what's known as power chords. Now the reason why we use power chords in metal is because the most harmonically correct chord that you can play by just using two notes is what's known as like a unison chord. So two notes that are the same note. And those are used a lot in metal as well. Like they, Machine Head use them a lot. Right, but then, you know, that can get a bit boring because it's literally just the same two notes. So it's not two notes, it's one note. Right, so you can come up with something a bit more substantial than that. Right, so the next step down from that is a power chord where you have your first note, like your root note, combined with a major fifth above that. So a major fifth is what is the name given to the length of from the root to the other note. Right, so you play a note that's a major fifth above the root, but that is some insanely technical mumbo jumbo, right? But all that means is whenever you play a note on the low E, if you just play another note at the same time, 2 frets above on the A string, that's a major fifth above no matter which fret you use. Right, and that's always a power chord. And it's always a major fifth. And they sound good because with all this like sort of major distortion, you sort of have to have something like two notes that work well together. Otherwise it will just sound really bad. Right, but the root and then the note that's a major fifth above, they're very harmonically correct, just like the unison chord. But it's sort of like a bit more like colourful. a bit more raw because it's not like the exact same note. So that is what came to be from metal, like palm muting notes. And then like combining it with power chords, right? So they are the two main things within metal, really. You know, instant Metallica. Right, so what I'm actually going to show you is, like I was saying before, like it's not about what you write, it's about how valuable it is. And there's this major misconception of that if you want to write something heavy, you have to drop tune, right? So you have to lower your strings to get a lower tone, which apparently means that it's heavy. That is the biggest load of shit that I've ever heard in my life, right? Metallica playing standard tuning, right? And they have insanely heavy riffs. Right? And there's another band called Silosis who are sort of like a modern version of Metallica, I'd say, right? And they are one of the heaviest, and they write some of the most valuable and like sickest riffs I've ever heard, right? And they play in standard tuning as well. It's about what you play and what notes you're using, and that's what I'm going to show you with this method. I'm going to give you the three darkest, or like three of like the best candidates for the darkest and heaviest scales that you can use to write metal with. And what I'm going to show you is just these, like the notes of these scales across just the low E string, because that's what I'm saying. You can use them to then play the notes, like the palm muted notes on the low E, and then if you want, combine it with the power chords. And there you go, you've got instant heaviest metal, right? So I'm going to show you the first one, which is the E diminished scale. What I want you to do is get like a piece of paper, just draw like a line across it, and then plot the numbers on it of the frets that I'm telling you, like as I'm saying it. And I also have the tab up as well, so you can visually see it too. So yeah, like E diminished, open, and then first fret, third fret, fourth fret, sixth fret, seventh fret, ninth fret, 10th fret, and then 12th fret. And this one is supposed to be the darkest of darkest scales. So if you want to write something that's dark, pitch black, use the diminished scale, right? And then next from there you have the E harmonic minor scale. So that is open, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret, 11th fret, and 12th fret, right? Now this is the scale that sort of sounds like quite Egyptian, Arabian, like kind of Middle Eastern, you know, because it has this like big gap in it, and that gives that sort of Egyptian feel. Okay, like I know the band Death, like the death metal band, they use like, you know, that scale quite a lot. I mean, that was like a bit of a complicated version of it, but it sort of has the same sort of tonality, the same sort of vibe. Right, so that's that. And then the last one is E Locrian, which is sort of like the most commercial out of the three. And you see, again, bringing up Metallica, don't mean to be a fanboy, but you know, they just happen to be one of my favourite. But you know, you see a lot of their work within this scale. So open, 1st fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 6th fret, 8th fret, 10th fret, and then the 12th fret. right? Right, so that is it. Any questions, please ask. If I've forgotten anything, I'll leave like what I wanted to say in the description. I think everything's there. If you have any questions, please ask. And thank you very much for watching, guys. Take care, all the best. Good luck with your practicing, and God bless. Take care.